Good morning, Clarksburg. On my way to work, just thought I'd turn my camera on and let y'all see what the roads are like if you haven't left the house yet. I guess they waited till the last minute and did a 2-hour delay on Harrison County schools. Kind of cruel to wait until the last second when kids are already up and teachers like my wife are already up. But it is what it is, I guess. Kind of like yesterday, I'm kind of surprised they even did it, because my experience so far driving on the road is the road's fine. So I said that yesterday, and then I got to work and found out there were 3-4 wrecks, and then I don't know, maybe 8 o'clock, 8:30, everything just went crazy with wrecks. Like, there were wrecks everywhere. I don't know if it was just because more people got out or the road got significantly worse yesterday in the mid-morning, but there were a ton of wrecks yesterday, especially in rural areas. The worst one yesterday was Wallace. So the only reason I'm telling you that is because don't get mad and say the school shouldn't have closed today, blah, 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 because there definitely are dangerous roads out there, even if we're not seeing it right here in Clarksburg. God, I'm hitting the bumps. I can't even talk. Yeah, but anyway, there was one hill yesterday in Wallace. I can't remember what road it was, that there were like 5 cars in the ditch, right in the same area. Like, one deputy went out there and had to help all of them get out of the ditch. He had to wait for a tow truck, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. And the only reason I'm telling you that story is because don't watch my version of the roads are fine in Clarksburg and think the roads are fine everywhere, because the roads might not be fine in Wallace. Yesterday, the roads were definitely not fine in Wallace. There was also wrecks yesterday. It was a lot of that side of the county. There was like 2 in the Shinston area. So that side of the county, the north side, must have got a little more, I don't know, a little worse conditions that caused wrecks. Didn't seem like anything was really happening in the more populated areas, Clarksburg and Bridgeport. But a lot like yesterday, what I'm seeing right now is, a dusting of snow. Not frozen, it's not icy, so I'm not even sliding around at all. Don't have my 4-wheel drive on, nothing like that. So, oh God, oh. For the fans of my driving videos who knew about my windshield getting cracked, I'm gonna take my phone off the stand so I can show you. It got worse last night. As you can see, it's now all the way across now. But I swear I'm not fixing it. I'm not fixing it until winter's over. Like, there's just been way too much crap on the road. Jeep Wranglers, I've replaced a lot of windshields. They get broken pretty easy. It's because it's so flat and square. Crap just hits it. But I'm not replacing this thing until, I don't know, middle of March at least. So I gotta start calling around and getting some price quotes for that, I guess. What happens when you make it a point to go out and drive and make videos every time it snows. I think some people were riding with me making a video on Route 50 in Bridgeport when it actually got cracked. Or actually, it had a little chip to begin with, and I should have fixed it, but I didn't because I decided it was too cold, it wouldn't work. And then something hit it and it went clear across the windshield. It was only a tiny little thing to begin with. So, live and learn. I should have fixed it. Sorry, my camera keeps trying to focus on the windshield instead of the car in front of me. So. What do we talk about today? I feel like the water board is big in my head this morning. So we'll talk about the water board yesterday. I brought up some things I just happened to come across yesterday. The water project is coming to my neighborhood, so I guess I was looking a little more into what I need to be doing ahead of time to prepare for that, if anything, as they are finally coming down to my area, it looks like. And I was actually looking for the contracts. I wanted to see the contracts just to read the details. And of course, the contracts aren't online. They would be way too easy just to put stuff online and let the people be able to see it. It's much more transparent by their standards to make you do a FOIA request and ask to see the contracts. You know, I gotta go through all these extra steps just to see what they say. But I digress on that. That's a whole different argument. What I came across was the fact that only 2 contractors are listed for work that first, from what I read, looked like you had to pay for and then get reimbursed for. But now the water board people are correcting me, saying that they pay the contractor direct. You don't actually have to get reimbursed, which I think opens a whole nother can of worms if that's true. I don't know. I don't even want to say yet, but I'm going to do some more reading today. If the contractor is working directly for the water board and not for the consumer doing a reimbursement, then I think the situation of them having only 1 or possibly 2 contractors may be even worse, because then it seems like it should have been a competitive bidding process. And I've been told this was not a competitive bidding process. Supposedly, out of what I can find, 78 plumbing contractors service Harrison County. Only 1, possibly 2, wanted this work and even bothered to fill out what I was told was 11 pages of paperwork. I don't know, folks. It sounds awful sketchy to me. And to be clear, I'm not saying anything bad about this company or these 2 companies. And the reason I keep saying this company or 2 companies is because one of them I'm not even sure is a plumbing company. It says it's called something excavation. I can't even think of it right now. But it doesn't even sound like a plumbing company. And I don't know, the way it's listed on that page, it looks to me like they may be just doing the excavation part or something. So I don't even know. I don't know. One of them is clearly a plumbing company, and one of them looks like it's an excavation company. So it's 1 plumber, possibly the second one maybe doing the plumbing work too, which I'm not super smart about how things work, but could an excavation company take plumbing work if it were a state contract from, like, they have union plumbers, right? Isn't that a thing? I don't know. I'm going to have to read up on this thing. I've never been in any trade unions or anything, but I think, you know, respectable people who care about workers try to use union people. I don't know. It needs more explanation and more investigation, but I'm not sorry for anything I said yesterday, because all I did was ask questions and say it doesn't look good. And it doesn't look good. And to clarify even further, I never once said anything bad about the company or companies. I don't think it's their fault that the water board isn't capable of doing things correctly. Good for the company that they are the only company that saw the little tiny, you know, 10 or 12 point font ad in the back of the newspaper, the legal notice, that they needed to go fill out these 11 pages of paperwork. Good for them if that is all that happened. I'm glad they're smart. I'm not saying anything bad about them. But bad for the water board, like, that you do the absolute minimum by doing a legal notice in the newspaper in 2026. Nobody's looking at the effing newspaper. Hey, you guys proud of me? Look, I just censored myself. But anyway, that little tiny newspaper article that Chad Sigmund posted that is like, I don't know, 3 inches long with tiny type is the only way that they went out to find the best deal for not only, okay, I'm still not sure if it's reimbursement or if they're paying the contractor direct, but if it's reimbursement, they're creating a monopoly for those companies and they're like advertising for them. If it is a contract and they're working directly for the water board, it's like it was done on the friggin' lowdown and like no other company had a chance to bid on it. So yesterday, just for shits and giggles, okay, sorry, I didn't censor myself that time. So just to see, I contacted a friend of mine. I won't drop his name or his company name, but I contacted a friend of mine who is one of the very higher up people in what I would think is probably the largest or one of the largest plumbing companies and air conditioning heating companies working in north central West Virginia, and just asked him a couple questions about it. And I did verify that if his company had been involved in this, it would have went through him and he would have been, you know, the one to make the decision, and he would have been the one to fill out the 11 pages of paperwork if they so choose to participate. And surprise, surprise, he knew nothing about it. Nothing about it. He's like, oh, well, I wonder how they vetted, he put in air quotes, they vetted this contractor that they chose to be the only one getting the work. That was exactly the response I expected, and exactly what the problem is here. Now, even if they're sticking to their guns and they say they did this legally, let me tell you the ethical way that it should be done. Like when you go to that web page that has the 2 contractors listed, they should have a paragraph or a disclaimer or a place to click for contractors that says something along the lines of, the reason I know this is because I made them do it this way for the sidewalk program when I was on city council, because they were doing it wrong too. Surprise, surprise. But you need a place or disclaimer or information on that page that says something along the lines of, if you choose to use a different contractor and you do not want to use the ones on our list, this is the process that contractor needs to follow. They need to contact the water board and, you know, get X amount of paperwork done. And now a lot of people may choose not to do that, but, you know, if I have been doing business, completely an example, I'm not saying I do or I do not endorse them, but let's say I've been doing business with Groggs for 20 years and I want Groggs to do the work. I can call up Groggs and talk to somebody on the phone and be like, hey, do you know about this project in Clarksburg where you can do this work for me and the water board will pay you direct and it's like free work and they're going to give you hundreds and hundreds of jobs? The guy answering the phone is going to be like, oh, no, that sounds awesome. I'll go on the website and fill that out as part of setting up your job, and then we'll get it scheduled. I mean, this is how you do things. You don't just say, okay, here's 1 or possibly 2 contractors, and these are the ones you have to use if you expect to get your money back. If you don't use these people, we're not going to pay you. That's not how government works, folks. You can't pigeonhole people to use your person. And I just want to say one more time, I'm not saying anything bad about the company. I'm talking about the water board's practice and how they did this. It has nothing to do with, I don't even remember the name of the companies off the top of my head right now. Middle State or something like that. I don't care about Middle State Plumbing. Like, I don't think they did anything wrong. I'm sure they're great people. They're from what I can tell, I looked it up a little bit, it looks like a very small business. Maybe, it definitely probably under 10 employees. They didn't do anything wrong. The water board is the one who has to follow the government contract standards and, you know, the legal standards. It's not the contractor, you know, but its perception is reality. Just like I said, does it look good when a government entity is telling you you have one choice of people you can use to do a job? No, that doesn't look good. You know, that's all I said was, this doesn't look good. And then I started looking a little deeper and deeper. I'm 100% sure it doesn't look good the more I look at it. Anyway, I'm to work, so I'm ending my live broadcast. Have a nice day, Clarksburg, and the roads are fine.